DB2 fans, Doug Bouldin here with Jen Lyman of New Leaf Nutrition. And we want to introduce Jen to you because she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to nutritional counseling and being able to relate to people the best ways to lose weight. So Jen, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
so glad
for
to have
having
you.
me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice with New Leaf Nutrition and how it works?
Yeah, so we're a dietitian practice, and our clients come in and are wanting to meet with a dietitian for a variety of reasons. So we see clients obviously for weight loss. I feel like that's kind of a given, but we also have done like infertility counseling and inflammation reduction when it comes to autoimmune diseases, things like that. There's not a whole lot that we don't do because we have a variety of dietitians who work here, so we have different passions.
So your dietitians have different skill sets or different topics that they like to talk about?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, that they
Cool.
like to talk about.
All right.
They're passionate.
So there's a little bit of customization that can happen with folks that want to see your nutritionalist.
A lot of customization, yes.
Okay, cool.
We don't really have anyone doing the same things. We don't have set programs of you have to see us for 3 months at a time or anything like that. It's incredibly customized. That's the beauty of seeing a dietitian, is that we have had so much education in nutrition that we can tailor it to the individual.
And tell us about the qualifications of your dietitians.
Yeah, so we minimally have to do a bachelor's. It's funny that I am the least educated of our team. Everyone else has their master's, and part of that, it's kind of like nursing school, that you go to your prerequisites and then do your like intentional like nutrition classes as well as your clinical hours. So we have to sit for, or to complete 1,200 clinical hours and then pass like a boards kind of exam. And then we have to be licensed in Missouri. And then we're a dietitian finally.
Wow. So this is not just a weekend course that you take and then sit down.
No.
Right.
Not at all.
So the folks that come and speak with your dietitians are going to get the highest level of information that's out there today.
Yeah, yes. We
Cool.
really try to keep up to date on the research. And the nice thing about being medical providers is that we're able to use insurance.
There you go.
Clients.
All right. So tell us a little bit about that, because I know people are going to be interested to
hear
hear that part of this story.
It's so nice that a lot of insurance companies will allow for coverage for their clients or for their employees, meaning that it's entirely free for the individuals.
Wow.
So because it's under a preventative benefit. So we're in network with Cigna, Aetna, Blue Cross, and United Healthcare, and we can normally get very good coverage from those companies.
Does that include the Medicare Advantage plans and things like that as well?
So we're not in network with traditional Medicare or Medicaid.
Okay.
If someone's coverage is a United Healthcare Medicare plan, then yes, but they have quite a few more hoops to jump through. Medicare is a lot more stringent than the commercial plans.
All right. Well, that all is good information for patients as well to understand that despite the fact that we don't bill insurance at DB2, there are providers that we work with that we trust that do bill insurance. So you can use some of your insurance benefits in those situations. So let's change gears a little bit and let's talk about an isolated topic within the scope of weight loss, and that's the protein intake. I have lots of patients who come in to me that are engaged in dietary or caloric restrictions, and they just seem to sometimes get stuck. And usually when that conversation circles around protein, you find that patients aren't taking enough. So what's your thought on that? How important is protein? Why is it important? And how much should we have?
Yeah, protein's really important, especially when you're on like a semaglutide type medication, because it helps with fullness. So that way you can let the medication work to its max effect.
So the protein can also create a fullness in you too.
Yeah, it's digested slowly, which then works great with the semaglutide since it's slowing gastric emptying.
Yeah.
It also, with that kind of medication, it can be, I mean, kind of the point is that it's a little more difficult to eat a lot of calories. But if we're not eating enough protein, then we're going to see muscle mass loss in the weight loss. And the muscle mass loss is going to bring down the number of calories burned in a day. Our basal metabolic rate is going to decrease. So even if we're eating less, our body's needing less because it has less protein and essentially is slowing your metabolism.
Is it possible to help stimulate your metabolism with increasing protein?
Mm-hmm.
So for those people who do reach a plateau and have difficulty getting past it, what would be your suggestion for those folks?
For the amount of protein?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for my clients, I normally recommend doing 30 grams of protein per meal. And I like to think about it per meal instead of 90 grams of protein per day, because 30 grams of protein, there was a research study at Mizzou done specifically at breakfast, that 30 grams of protein at breakfast, which is hard to do. Protein powders might be helpful, especially because it's a higher volume. 30 grams of protein at breakfast caused unintentional weight loss, like in a positive effect. With this group, it was particularly of women. So, and the reason that that happened was that they saw a decreased calorie intake throughout the whole day because you're more full if you eat high protein. And particularly the decreased calorie intake was especially at nighttime, that the women were just having fewer cravings, which isn't that nice? If we could just not have to fight the cravings, but not have them be there in the first place. 30 grams of protein is also the threshold for producing muscle mass. And again, that was a big factor when we're limiting calories. We really have to make sure we're preserving and protecting our muscle mass. That way we're not having decreases in our metabolism.
Is there ever a point where more than 100 grams, 90 or 100 grams of protein per day is an indicated amount for a patient?
That's such a good, I'm glad you brought that up. So if somebody has kidney problems, then we definitely need to be really monitoring those labs and probably potentially likely limiting their protein. But most of the time that's not the case. It would take quite a lot of protein to begin to damage kidney function.
Okay. So patients who take in 100 to 120 grams a day, that's not counterproductive in a weight loss environment?
No. Good. Proteins per gram is low calorie. And again, if it's making you so full, I often find that it's difficult to get to the 30 grams. It depends on the person, but it can be difficult to even get to your 30 grams of protein per meal. So when we're thinking about eating mostly whole foods, so we're eating animal protein, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, it's really difficult to overeat on those foods.
Gotcha.
I mean, when's the last time that you had a humongous salad and afterwards you were super hungry and wanted to eat more? And really it's because the vegetables and the fiber that are keeping you full. So eating whole foods makes it really challenging to overeat.
What do you think about water content and water intake in the course of dietary restriction?
Thanks for asking that, because whenever we go up in fiber, you have to make sure you're having enough water. You have to, otherwise you're going to end up having some bowel issues. Plenty of water is really important for any of your bodily processes. It's required for basically every metabolic process. So having enough water is actually very helpful for helping with weight loss.
Okay.
I normally have clients shoot for at least 2 liters of water a day. More is great. You want to spread it out throughout the day. You don't want to chug it all at once. Exactly. Otherwise you can get low sodium levels.
And be miserable on top of it.
Yes. Be not very productive at work, right? Running to the bathroom all morning. But at least 2 liters of water a day, more if you can, especially since it's hot outside.
So let me circle back around and ask a question this way. Protein obviously is important in caloric restriction diets. I would also say that fiber and water are important. Is there a hierarchy that they play in that one is more important than other?
That's a good question. I mean, you're asking me if I have a favorite child right now. Oh, that's so, I mean, the thing is that if you're not having enough water, then you're going to be having a lot of those more common stomach problems.
Yeah.
If you're not having enough fiber, you potentially are also going to have stomach problems. If you're not having enough protein, then you're going to probably be losing muscle mass. And one thing that always helps people is to say your hair's also probably going to fall out.
No doubt.
It's a good motivator for people, and it's just true.
Yeah.
I honestly can't say that one is more important than the other. I would,
okay.
If I had a client that they were having a hard time in all three, I think I would start them saying, let's really practice and really put effort into finding ways that you can get protein throughout your day. And then I would incorporate water, and then I would incorporate fiber, because if we incorporate fiber first without addressing water, you're going to have some challenges.
All right, so I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here a little bit. Again, asking for your favorite.
Okay.
Is there a protein source that you feel is the highest quality, the easiest for patients to use without having to, buy an industrial strength blender?
Okay.
That kind of stuff. Talk about the formats of protein and what's available, what's generally recommended as the best.
I mean, if you're referencing protein powder, is that what you're meaning?
Yeah, there's a lot of folks who use protein powders to supplement their protein intake because they just can't eat that volume of meat and other protein sources. So that's what
really
I'm curious
helpful
about.
No, that is really helpful to use. A lot of times, like I said, breakfast, the research shows that 30 grams is really helpful, but breakfast is a time of day that it can be hard to get that volume, especially when you're trying to rush to work. So a protein drink is really nice. I have a lot of clients who like pre-made protein drinks that they can just kind of take on the go. I find the most tasty and most tolerable one is the Fairlife protein drinks. As far as protein powder goes, I think it's up to your preference and what feels good to your body. I personally like a whey protein. I think it tastes better.
And that's going to be my next question is whey, soy.
Yeah, some people feel better though on doing like a pea protein powder. I think Vega is a brand that a lot of my clients, if they choose, like if for some reason they can't tolerate whey, they like the Vega brand of it's vegan pea protein powder.
And that's a chickpea?
Green peas.
It's green peas. I'll be darned.
Yeah.
So you can make protein out of other things than just soy and milk fat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, so I think that covers everything that we wanted to discuss today. Thank you, Jen. If you're interested in meeting with Jen or her staff about dietary restrictions, losing weight, and just being healthy, Jen can be reached at New Leaf Nutrition in O'Fallon. And Jen, that number is?
314-626-3472.
Are there other ways that people can contact you and make appointments to come in and meet with one of your staff members?
Yeah, we have our website is newleaf-nutrition.com. You can see more of what we do. You can fill out an inquiry form on there, but ultimately you're going to be talking with Nanette, who's our intake person, because she's going to verify the insurance benefits like we talked about. We don't schedule someone if we don't know what their insurance is going to pay for. And she's going to also match you up with the dietitian who best fits your personality and best fits what you're needing with what they're really passionate about. So it's very fun for the teamwork of the dietitian and the client to come together.
That's awesome. We're excited for your practice, and we're excited that you're willing to accept our patients as well.
Of course.
So, DB2 fans, hey, you have another resource, and hopefully you start to grasp the commitment that we make here at DB2 to improving your quality of life and helping you effectively lose weight in a safe and healthy way. That's what's important to us. We know how important weight loss is in reducing your cardiovascular risks, your diabetic risks, but really and truly improving your overall quality of life. So our commitment to you is when you see us for weight loss, we're going to plug you into quality people like Jen and her staff so that we can make you as successful as possible. If you have questions or comments, please reach out to us at db2regeneration.com. We can also be reached at 636-265-2822 if you would like to make an appointment. And please follow up with Jen and reach out to her staff as well. Thanks for stopping by.